At the start, we are in Everett. A pickup truck rolls down a two-lane road. Inside are an older married pair who look like they have all the time in the world and none of it at once. Buy lottery tickets. They do not shout about luck. They have a method. They believe they can predict the state lottery, and they have been working the math for a while. Still, the real story begins a few weeks earlier. We first meet Jerry at the breakfast cereal plant, where he has spent most of his life. He wakes each morning with a quiet question in the back of his head. Is this the shift when they show me the door? He runs one of the factory's departments. He knows the machines and the men and the rhythms. He has been there since he was a young man. One day he stands in front of the board of directors and tries to prove he still has value. He says what he always says. He can run the line. He knows the timing. He can turn things around. He is practiced and steady. The owners nod and smile in a way that doesn't reach their eyes. They have decided otherwise. They have already cut his conveyor. The company has plans to move on without him. These are your golden years, the exec replies, with the polite finality of people who have signed the paperwork and moved on. And so Jerry retires. The job that defined decades becomes a memory. The evening he comes home, his family gathers around a table. He masks the sting. His wife reads the room better than he does and tries to steer the talk away from loss. They celebrate his time at the plant. The kids give him a small wooden boat. It is a gift wrapped in good intentions, the kind that asks you to take it easier. It'll be an adjustment, someone says. You'll find your way, another offers. Jerry smiles.
It'll be an adjustment. You'll find your way.
He is thankful for the present, but the boat sits in the garage for a month. He keeps thinking about schedules and invoices and what his hands used to know. One morning, he walks into the local corner store for coffee and runs into Steve. They talk about small things, weather, who is sick, how accounts are looking. 2% gains, Steve says, a little brag in his voice.
2% gains.
Jerry listens. Stocks feel like gambling to him. He avoids that world. He sticks to what he understands, steady lines and steady pay. But the boat waits for him like a quiet dare. One morning, he decides to launch it. He forgets to set the handbrake. The car slides down the ramp into the water, where he might lose everything. He scrambles, drives out, and manages to save the pickup. The boat motor dies. Jerry is shaken. He walks into a cafe, orders coffee, and hears about the windfall lottery.
Oh, it's when the jackpot hits 2 million and nobody gets 6 numbers. Then the whole jackpot rolls down to the people who got 3 or 4, whatever.
Someone mentions the rules, the jackpot, and the odds. The way the prize shifts when no one matches all 6 numbers. He reads a small poster on the counter and starts sketching on a napkin. Numbers fall into place. Jerry has a head for computation. He begins running combinations and expected values in his mind. He spots a quirk in the payout structure. There is a gap, an edge, if you buy enough tickets to collapse the luck factor. He tells Steve about the idea. Steve laughs. The game designers aren't stupid. You can't take money like that. But Jerry talks through the math.
Now, on a typical drawing, you'd have a 1 in 54 chance of hitting 3 out of 6 numbers and a 1 in 1,500 chance of hitting 4. Odds are you lose every time.
But when a jackpot rolls down because no one hit 6, the payout for 3 or 4 goes way up. If you buy enough tickets, the expected return can exceed your outlay. The numbers line up when there's only one number left to make a full set. You can cover the combinations that matter. Steve still doesn't buy it. He calls it crazy. But Jerry believes the calculation. Without telling his wife, he withdraws $2,000.
Probably be 20% more than this, give or take.
See you then.
Okay.
And goes to the gas station that sells Windfall. He buys 2,000 Windfall tickets.
2,000 windfall tickets.
2,000.
Yes, ma'am.
The next night, he sits and watches the drawing with the same quiet focus he used to give a conveyor belt. When his wife, Marge, walks in, he switches the TV off and pretends it was a habit. She leaves the room, and he turns the set back on. He checks the winning numbers, matches them to his stubs, and discovers he has lost money. After a small, distracted gathering at their home, where they play cards and talk politics, Marge notices he is off.
Full house.
We're playing gin.
Oh.
They sit on the porch and talk about luck and the oddness of trying to beat a system. Jerry realizes the missing factor in his first attempt. Pure, random luck. He had underestimated variance. He goes back to the bank. This time he withdraws $8,000, all of his savings. He buys more tickets. He is relentless. A day later, the family eats in a cafe while friends laugh and swap reports about their own small tickets. Marge admits she never liked games that risked money. The conversation makes Jerry choke on his coffee. He feels foolish. Yet the numbers begin to move in his favor. This time the payoff comes back. He wins $15,000. It is almost double what he spent. For a man who had been told his working life was over, this windfall feels like a second job. He hides the cash in a popcorn tin in the pantry. He shuffles money into a cereal box when his granddaughter reaches for a treat. He becomes careful with the secret. Eventually, his wife guesses, and he can't keep quiet. He confesses to playing and to winning. He expects anger. She beams.
I'm playing the lottery.
Wow.
It is not condemnation. It is relief and joy. For a couple who had spent 40 years working and saving, this looks like a chance to do things for themselves for once. They plan to buy tickets with the full $15,000, but the state has shut down the game in their area. To buy windfall tickets, they must go to Massachusetts. They drive. On the way, they stop at their friend Steve's office and tell him about the plan. Steve wants in and kicks in $1,000. At the Massachusetts gas station, they find a ticket machine. The seller is surprised to process such a bulk order.
How can I help you?
We'd like to buy 8,000 windfall tickets.
The machine prints about 1,000 stubs per hour, so they must wait. The clerk lets Jerry run the printer. They buy 8,000 tickets. In the morning, after checking through them all, they tally a $21,000 return. That win changes the tone.
They just said congratulations.
Back in Everett, they begin to talk bigger. Marge and Jerry suggest taking the idea public. They call friends, neighbors, and people they have known for years and propose a simple investment club. The entry fee is $500. The pitch is plain. Pool small sums, buy big batches of tickets, split returns. Some offer cash, others offer trades. One farmer offers a quad bike, and everyone brings something. They name the group GS Investment Strategies, and it becomes a town thing. When Jerry and Marge next visit the gas station, they buy $40,000 in tickets. Bill, the seller, is curious about where the money comes from. Bill ends up joining as a shareholder after Jerry explains the method.
I'm in. Can I be in?
Word spreads. Bill brings friends. The town begins to feel like a small engine humming. Not everyone is local.
Hey, I got 2 more shareholders. One of them's got to rob his parents' house real quick, but he's definitely in.
It's 500 more tickets.
Across the state line at Harvard University, a dorm room experiment is underway. A student named Tyler runs a simulation on the lottery. He sees the same edge Jerry did and believes it is replicable. He recruits classmates to chip in.
You're not filling any out?
No. I'm in charge.
Another student, Eric, digs into the data and finds an odd pattern. Some large returns seem to be traced to ticket sales in a particular area. That suggests a second group is doing the same thing. Tyler and Eric decide to test their own version. They scrape together money from dorm mates and prepare to buy in bulk. Meanwhile, in Everett, Jerry continues his rounds of purchases. The town invests. Farmers trade goods for shares. A gas station clerk drives off in a new car. A farmer gets space to sell produce. Steve buys a flashy sports car and jokes about the upgrade.
I just bought a Corvette.
Yeah, I can see that.
The state lottery office begins to notice anomalies. A manager sees reports that the number of big winners is far higher than expected. There should be 5 winners over 50 grand a year, someone says in a meeting. Here we have one every 3 weeks. The people at headquarters shrug and call it luck. After all, luck is their product. At the dorm, the students realize their own machine could be more efficient. Eric hacks into parts of the lottery database and finds GPS logs of where big batches of tickets scan out. He and Tyler see a pattern: large purchases and coordinated timing. They realize they are not the only game in town. At this point, Tyler decides his crew could intercept the distribution earlier and capture more of the jackpot.
But if we create a roll down when nobody expects it, we take it all, we squeeze the other players out. We use our hack to track the pot, we wait for it to hit $1 million before a drawing, and then we bet $1 million in one day. I mean, we own the game.
He reaches out to contacts and lines up funds from people who have deeper pockets than dorm budgets. Soon, a new batch of tickets goes on sale. Jerry and Marge are at a gas station, marking their 46th anniversary with coffee and a packet of tickets. They are older, quieter, still smiling. Tyler and Eric walk in, young and cocky. They recognize the elderly couple and tease them. They propose collaboration. Jerry declines. He has his club.
Binomial distribution only considers two factors. Not a third, which is human error, or a fourth, which is the time it takes for you to fill in the tickets. You gain a whopping $32 for every $100,000 you win. You're welcome.
Seriously?
Shut up.
The town projects begin to take shape. People invest in small upgrades, in the school, in a new play lot. The money circulates. At the same time, a journalist at the Boston Globe, Maya Jordan, picks up noise about frequent winners in odd places. She visits Jerry and finds stacks of ticket boxes in his garage. He shows her how he and Marge spend nights checking stubs and how the small, patient grind is what makes them content. She expects a greedy, secretive man and finds instead a man who looks proud in the plain, domestic way of people who finally have room to breathe. Maya's editor asks for a hard-hitting piece. They expect scandal. But the story she writes is different. It notes the system's vulnerability and the human side of the winners. It points to Tyler and his dorm project, and to a pattern of concentrated ticket buys. The paper's article is enough to pull the plug. The lottery regulators announce they will phase out windfall. Machines in many locations are pulled. The licenses are revoked. Overnight, the legal landscape shifts. Before that final curtain falls, Jerry and Marge decide to play one last round. The town rallies. Jerry drives and notices the machines being taken down where they usually bought tickets. It turns out Tyler's dorm group moved faster than expected. Eric manages to ring a few early runs, and the students scrape a profit too. But then the paper's piece and news of hacking blow things wide open. Tyler's face ends up on the front page, and his father sees it. The father drags Tyler home and insists he leave school to avoid worse trouble. The state regulator announces windfall will stop after tonight's draw. The people who had been buying in volume realize it is the last chance. That evening, at a community meeting, the town reveals a different kind of plan. They have driven to every machine left in the state to buy up remaining tickets. They have pooled their last small wins and their faith. They have been careful to spend most of the money improving the town. They have rebuilt a park, fixed the school roof, and invested in scholarships. On the last night, there is a jazz festival the locals put on to celebrate what they have done. When the final numbers come out, the group has done well enough. The largest haul adds up over time. By the end of the run, Jerry has helped the town gather about $27 million in net gains. And Bill finally builds the man cave he always wanted. The film closes on Jerry and Marge dancing at the festival. They steal away from the crowd to count the money in the motel room and to breathe for a minute. They are not ashamed. They are tired and relieved. They are proud of what they did for the people they love.